wanted to talk a little bit about the benefits of yoga and how Dean and I have so appreciated being able to do yoga every day, really, for 40 years. Not every day. I have to admit it isn't every day, but I think when we first became aware of yoga, it was a book by Swami Satchidananda. I remember this. He looked like an old man at the time. He was probably quite a lot younger than I am today, but he was doing all these interesting postures and poses, and we would put the book on the ground by the garden and we would try to copy the sun salutation or do the warrior pose or whatever it was. And eventually we got to take some classes in New York City at the Integral Hatha Yoga Center there, and really learn more specifically the postures. But what we discovered when we did yoga is that it really helped to balance our physical selves, but also our mental selves. And that was something that we really appreciated, being able to find a way to create a calm, peaceful place within our minds. And then our bodies benefited from it so much as well. And just to be able to do a daily yoga practice. It's great if you can go to classes. I don't really get to classes too often. I've had a few in my life, and I so appreciate it because you tend to work harder when somebody's there instructing you. But what you want to do is find a nice routine. There's a lot of videos online that you can watch to really learn the correct way to do the postures. But what yoga really does, Patanjali was a yoga teacher, writer years ago. He wrote something called the Yoga Sutras, and what those were about is explaining what yoga was. And this familiar one, the Yoga Sutra, the second Yoga Sutra, is that the purpose of yoga is to calm the whirlpools of the mind. So the mind is a very active situation. We have a universe inside our heads. A lot going on, and particularly in this day and age with people being so plugged in to the news, so whatever's happening anywhere on the planet you're going to know about, and especially all the bad news. So there's a lot going on that maybe it's overwhelming us. And then add that to what's going on in our personal lives. We may be struggling just raising a family, or keeping with our job, or struggling financially, or physically, maybe have some health issues. Whatever it is that's going on, the process of yoga and also the meditation that tends to go along with it can really benefit us. So this is something that I just encourage people to, if you haven't tried it, sign up for a class, watch some videos, do some simple postures, and then allow yourself to go into the process of meditation where you're working with the breath, stabilizing your body systems. Yoga has great health benefits, and we're really fortunate to live in a time in history when yoga is so available to people. We recently watched a movie called Breath of the Gods, and it was about a yogi named Krishnamacharya, and he lived in India in the early 20th century. So what he discovered was that, and this surprised me, but yoga, even though it's 5,000 years old and it was started in India, was virtually unknown around the world, but particularly in India. I was surprised that only a few people were doing yoga, and they were living up in caves in the Himalayas. So this man, Krishnamacharya, he researched and he sought out these yogis living in caves, and he studied there for several years and learned many asanas. Those are the yoga postures that you're probably familiar with. but he learned many of them. And then he also created a sequencing of the postures, and he also tied it in with the breathing, and he also tied it in with the meditation. And one of the things that I appreciated in learning about him was he said, when you breathe in, God approaches you. When you hold your breath, God stays in you. When you exhale, you approach God, and when you hold your exhalation, you stay in God. So it was just a sort of a metaphor of how he worked using the breath, and to be able to focus the mind in a positive way on the higher spirit and the higher sense of self. So I can't say enough about the benefits of yoga and meditation, and I hope that you are able to incorporate those things into your own daily practice. Again, the more you can do things on a regular basis, the better. Because at the beginning you may be achy and you may not be able to do, quite as much as you think you want to. And you may even hurt the next day or so because you might have stretched your body a bit. But don't worry, just keep going and keep moving toward that place of calm centeredness and calm stillness in achieving optimum health, both mental and physical. And that's what I believe is the blessing that we all have in doing yoga and meditation. So, namaste. I honor the light within you. And may you be blessed with excellent health and happiness.